Hey everybody, welcome to yet another interview series. Today I have a good friend of mine, somebody who I respect a lot in the coaching and training world, Nenad. So Nenad and I first met over like almost half a decade ago. He's an NLP trainer, he's an interactive hypnotherapist and a mindset coach. And the reason that, I wanted to have Nenad in the show is because he is somebody who I know follows the work about beliefs and manifestation and law of attraction and how you manifest things at a very deep level. So I thought some of you could be interested in that, and he is somebody who's very knowledgeable, and I can also learn from him, right? So Nenad, the floor is yours. So please introduce yourself and share a little bit about yourself.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here to talk. Like you said, I'm a mindset coach, hypnotherapist. I have a lot of passion, I think is the right word, for personal development, spirituality, and understanding really how we create life and why you would create certain type of result and things of this nature. And I like helping people uncover, what's been holding them back, and finding myself growing through those experiences as well. And so hopefully in this chat today, I'll be able to help some of you as well.
Okay, great. So like I said before, right, it's going to be a short chat. So I want to make sure that everything that we're discussing is simple for people to understand and easy to implement, right? So the first thing I wanted to ask you is, and this is going to be an unconventional thing for all of these people listening, for most of you at least. We are told when you start a business as a coach or whatever business you're starting and you're trying to get clients and grow your business, the conventional advice and the courses and all these gurus, they all talk about the external part, most of them at least, right? You have to meet certain amount of people, you have to post certain amount of videos, post this content, have a YouTube channel, all these things on the outside. But what you and I know, and many of the people know, is that the internal world, right, what we have inside us, needs to change first. So if that world, internal world, is aligned with whatever we might want to call it, the body, mind, energy, whatever that might be, the internal world needs to be aligned in order for us to manifest the result, right? So what are your thoughts on that? What would you say to somebody who is asking you about how do I make sure my internal world is aligned with what I want?
Very good question. I think it's definitely true. It's very easy to get carried on strategies, marketing, sales, skills, and everything like that. And what you notice maybe is that a lot of people can go through a lot of courses, books, seminars, endless YouTube videos and podcasts and whatnot. So they got all the strategy, the knowledge, the concept, right, to start somewhere, to do something, but either they don't do it, or they do some of it, or they start and then very soon after they give up because maybe they don't see the result. And that's the first sign that internally you're kind of detached from what you want. You're not congruent with what with the result you desire. So there's something I like to refer as the self-image, which is basically how we see ourselves, your beliefs, your values, your perceptions, and all of that. And very often, what we want and who we are right now is very different.
Yeah.
Let's say we take a common thing, whether it's relationship or money, the two big things that most people can relate with. If you're sick, if you're struggling financially, or you feel like, okay, I want to break through to the next level, you may be like, okay, well, I need to scale my business or whatever, right? And that's what makes sense. I need to scale my business to get more clients. So you understand the logical aspect of it. Yeah. What we don't see is the internal struggle that is creating where we are, because we are where we are because of who we are.
Yeah.
Right. So now comes in play my own sense of worth. How much do I actually feel like I deserve? How much do I think I need to work in order for me to deserve more money, right? And is it bad for me to get more money? Would that make me selfish? Would that make me feel guilty? So there is all that conditioning, but there is also all those variety of beliefs that can be present, which can actually block us from doing certain type of action, or could actually make you get money only to waste it all so that you can come back to the same level where you were.
Mm.
So from my personal experience and working with a lot of clients, the moment you start to align yourself, knowing like, who do I need to be in order for me to already have the kind of result I desire? For example, people will tell you, okay, make a list of the perfect partner you want. Mm-hmm. All the values, or everything you want in your partner, just write it down. It gives you an idea, right? And then if you look at that list, you'll be like, well, the most honest question you have to ask yourself is, am I this person?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I want an honest partner. Well, are you fucking honest, in your own life? And that's very tough, because very, very much often the focus is externally, right? The right client, the right niche, the right girlfriend, the right strategy. But the internal strategy is completely jammed or outdated, or we don't even know what it is. And we end up in situations where we're seeking everything we need outside, but the puzzle inside is completely out of place. And that just makes the process so much difficult.
Yeah, very interesting. So one of the things that I value a lot, whether that is in personal life or business or anything, and maybe this coming from a place where I hated school a lot because it was all theory and we didn't know how to implement stuff, right? So I can relate with almost everything that you just shared, and at the same time I want to make sure that the people listening to it, they can start implementing it, so they know, like, where do I get started, right? So if somebody is listening to this and like, most of the things are unconscious, they may not know how they see themselves, or they may not know what is blocking them, or they may not be aware consciously about what are the limiting beliefs holding them back. So where can they get started?
Well, you look at your results. That's your result never lie. You are where you are, right? In every area of your life. This is I'm not telling you get a stick and start beating yourself. I'm just saying, get an honest look into, are you happy in your relationship? Are you fulfilled at work? Are you healthy? Are you, in all those areas that you value or that you want to improve or whatever, like, how happy are you with each area? And if you, for example, find yourself in, okay, my health, I'm definitely not where I want to be, or in my relationship, it could get better. That's, it shows you that there's something for you, that you need to upgrade something in order for you to get what it is you want. So another thing is to look at your relationship with people. People are our biggest mirror. And especially the people closest to us can teach us a lot, because they can reflect to us certain aspect of ourselves, certain belief of ourselves. And it can be very difficult to do, because you really have to go from a place of blaming into a place of, okay, let me take responsibility and assume that I'm causing all the effects in my life, right? When the moment you assume that, okay, for me to be where I am today, I must be mostly involved in all of it. It's, there's no accident. And that's where you can start to unravel some of those beliefs, some of those patterns, some of those things you do that keeps you there and brought you here.
This is interesting. I'm just thinking, right? Like I said, I don't have a list of questions prepared. I'm just letting things flow. So what comes to my mind is, you talked about self-image, right? And this is a topic that I had never heard before until I joined NLP practitioner and took all these trainings, like 4 or 5 years ago. So and what's interesting is, like I said before, most of the people are unconscious. They don't know it. So if you don't know something is not aligned, or if you don't know what is holding you back, there's no way you can change it, right? So how can somebody start to change their self-image? Like, do you have a certain process for it, or how would you teach someone to do it?
There is of course many ways. One, you could either, if you really don't know, you could, get a course, educate yourself on basic of mindset, how your mind works. That could be a first thing, right? Or it could be getting a coach, or it could be something you can do even alone yourself. It's a process of introspection. Like I told you, have a look at your results, and then ask yourself, okay, if I look into the future 1 year from now, right? and ask yourself for a moment, let's allow yourself to daydream for 2-3 minutes and just write down, how would that be like if I had the perfect year? So it's done, right? You're in 2023, like March 15 or whatever, and you look back and you just had the best year. Ask yourself, who was there? What did you do? What made it so great? Where did you contribute? That will give you an idea of, desires and passion and things that you kind of like. Sometimes you wouldn't even know, right? And then you can have that list, and then you can look at, okay, where am I right now? And ask yourself the simple question is, who do I need to be for me to go there? How do I need to think? How do I need to see myself? How do I need to work? How do I need to talk to myself? How do I talk to others? How do I treat my parents, my family, and strangers for me to get there?
Yeah.
Right. That can give you a few steps of upgrading your mindset. Another thing that I teach a lot to all my clients is to visualize. This is one of the best ways you can start to reprogram your mind and teach yourself new ways of doing things.
Yeah.
And it's very simple. You sit down, you take, I don't know, 10 minutes if you have, or less or more, and you relax. And then you bring to mind one thing that you want. Like, it's better to work at one thing at a time.
Yeah.
And then you start to play out acting this way. Let's say you're shy, you're struggling with shyness, social anxiety, and you really want to connect with people, woman or man or whatever, but you're kind of shy, right? Or you could start to visualize yourself going to those places you go usually, or new places, and feeling confident, just walking around, right? And then you could talk to a person, and then imagine that you have those mental conversations from a place of, I'm relaxed, I'm comfortable, I'm confident, I'm the center of the room. And the more you do this kind of mental exercise and you get emotionally involved in it, what happens is that your mind doesn't know the difference between imagination and reality. And you become so involved in your inner world that for your body, it becomes real. What happens is that you're almost creating future memories, new patterns, new behaviors, a new self-image. And the more you repeat it, you start to find yourself almost starting to act it out in real. And as you push it through, and then you face certain of your fears in reality, that's how you really cement it. So the process is to not avoid your fear or your struggles or some of your emotion, because that's where people get too often into the trap of like, okay, I'm gonna maybe just live in my imagination too much, which you gotta balance it out, because I'm a big believer, and I've seen it played out so many times in my life, that what I imagined came to be. But when the opportunity came, I had to fucking do it. You know what I mean? It's nobody's gonna come looking like me and making it. So, and there's always that form of resistance. I'm afraid, fuck, what I'm gonna say, I don't know, I don't know. That fear is there. And we have to accept the fear. That's also something huge, because the moment you do it, you gain power over that fear. And that's really where, mentally, emotionally, in your mind, you created that new self-image, right? And the moment you do it by action, you cement it physically. And now on all levels, you are acting out that part. So that could be a simple, not easy, because it's simple to do, simple not to do as well. But if you apply that simple process and you follow through, that alone can be phenomenal.
You talked about visualization, right? And this is one of my favorite topics as well. Like you said, I am also a big believer that what we visualize to be actually happens, and it plays out. It may not happen immediately. Some things happen quickly, some things may take time. And that's my next question. So many times when you're trying to manifest something, we might be visualizing consistently, writing our gratitude journal and doing everything that we can possibly think of, taking action, but still it seems like it's not, like you're not achieving it, or it's not manifesting it. So what are your thoughts on that?
It's a big question that I think many people have, and that can happen. It can be very frustrating. You're like, that's when you reach that place where I'm doing it all. Where is it? What if I could it, right? And you almost feel robbed of your fucking efforts. But that alone, when you're in that state, you have to notice that where that kind of thought and perspective is ruling your who you are in that moment, right? You're very detached, very disconnected from the person who already made the thing happen. So what people often forget, and they have that process, and it's almost like a spiritual manipulation going on here. You know what I mean? I'm gonna play with God, and I'm gonna do all those things, and then if I move carefully around the thing, I'll get to the treasure room, and it will be there, kind of thing. It's so much control. You know what I mean? We're trying to control every fucking aspect of how things are gonna happen.
Yeah.
In the big wave of life, and when we do that, we come from a very egoistic place of trying to control things. We're restricting a lot of the flow of possibilities, of how it's gonna come, and maybe there's something better in store, or getting surprised into things. So to be able to, and that's what they say, detach yourself, meaning like, okay, you want X, or you want money, or you want whatever, to be almost like feeling like, here's the thing, when you feel so whole, there is no lack.
Yeah.
And when you get in that place, you don't even want that thing anymore. That's the state of mind. Because you already have it. At least that's how it feels.
Yeah.
Whether it comes or not, you're whatever, almost. That's the state that I like to call natural, the natural state. It's already part of who I am. But when you do your gratitude and your meditation, and then you look at the time, is it coming now? And you bounce out of that state.
Yeah.
And then you spend the rest of the day trying to micromanage your world or making it happen. You're not in that state anymore.
Yeah.
And often that's the number one thing, is that we realize that the state of gratitude, or the what we visualize, we have to stay and be that person throughout the day, which is very difficult, because every time you come out, you bring yourself to your old self.
Yeah.
And you look at life through the perspective of lack, or I need, and I fucking need it now, and every time we do that, we take a step back.
Yeah.
Even though, because we may be doing everything that's needed, everything that we think is needed externally to bring it. But sometimes it comes fucking, and you didn't do shit about it.
Yeah.
And it came from like your blind spot, and you're like, I never considered that.
Yeah.
Let me give it a go.
Yeah.
And then it kind of happened. And that's what I mean by staying open to being surprised, not controlling. And the moment you can stay in that state where you kind of feel fulfilled, or that relief that is done somehow, that's where you really speed it up.
It's very deep. One last question I want to ask. So like we have had a chat about the same thing, right, a few times, and I heard the same thing from Dr. Joe Dispenza as well. So I listened to a lot of his stuff. So when we talk about staying in the state of being happy and being grateful and for the thing that happened, this is actually the question that I have. I don't know, people listening, they have it. I have it. I have it. So like, what does that look like? When you say through the entire day you should be like that, does that mean that you like don't force yourself to do other things and just remain in the state? Or does that mean that you can still chill out, have a coffee or watch a movie? How does that look like?
God forbid you should not have a coffee, man. Here's the thing, that's the control part I was just talking about. You see how your mind is already like, what exactly do I need to do at every fucking moment for me to if I have a coffee, does that mean I'm I missed out on my visualization today, please forgive me, that it's intense pressure, and we're putting extraordinary pressure. I'm not meaning like you gotta live 24 hours a day in bliss, because that's very difficult and probably almost unreachable.
Yeah.
Unless you you're like a enlightened master or something. The challenge is not reacting, being angry, afraid, worried, because all of that will come. The challenge is how long you're gonna stay there.
Yeah.
If you're working on the thing and you feel like, fuck, it didn't come again, and you start to doubt yourself, that's okay. But then can you go back into believing? Can you go back into trusting? Can you go back into having faith, or whatever you need to go back to? And I think if you can have that process and that mental discipline to tripping 1,000 times and going back 1,001 is exactly what you need to do. One of the best way to do that is just to be present more often.
Yeah.
And when you are just present in the present moment, idea can find you, because you
Yeah.
create an openness from that. What do I need to do now? And and when you open that openness, sometimes you get a punch or something.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get fucking nothing, and that's okay too. But you don't get depressed over it.
Yeah.
Right? You just trust the process. Another thing that is really, really important, and that I think maybe will answer other questions that you may have, is what the fuck do I do with my negative emotions? And it's almost like a taboo, because people then start to feel guilty when they try to be like, okay, I need to stay in that positive state, and here I am, and I'm unhappy, and I should not be unhappy, and it creates that guilt every time people end up in a negative state for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But again, here's a different perspective, is that to the degree that you want to stay in a open, expanded state, you should not avoid your contractive, closed state, because they can bring you and teach you a lot. So for example, if you are being triggered by your neighbor again because of his fucking dog or whatever, there's something for you to understand. There's a buildup of emotion that if it comes up very often, it means that this is one of your emotional home.
Yeah.
And you're using your environment to reaffirm how you're feeling subconsciously. So to be able to feel that emotion and release it, and that alone is a topic that's worth a conversation. But to be able to feel that by accepting I'm feeling this way, and being present with it, you can start now to release some of that emotional baggage from your subconscious mind, from your nervous system. And when you do that, you release that energy that can now be used to create something else. But sometimes, and that's why I said earlier, like in a conversation, that people can teach you a great deal about yourself. And if you constantly find yourself resentful or judging or envious or whatever,
angry or whatever,
around those people, and especially those who are what you want and you don't, often those are the ones who can there's something for you to process there. Because as long as you keep that between your state of consciousness, you'll find something, reason, people will come to bring you back to that state, so that you can heal it. And there's this saying that says love only brings out anything unlike itself for the purpose of healing. It's deep, right? So when you look at it from this perspective, your negative emotion, part of your aspect of your beliefs that you have that are crying out for love. And when you push down certain of your emotion, you're pushing out aspect of yourself, and you're keeping that fragmentation going in your mind, which then those energy are also manifesting and creating things even beyond your conscious awareness. So if you have a part of you that feels like not worthy of success because you've been told that it's selfish when you were young and you don't know, that could be a massive conflict of why you're freaking struggling and why you are going 2 steps forward and then slacking off and you don't understand. So we are very complex being, but understanding that being triggered sometimes is a gift for you to be able to understand and release what's underneath there. And when you do that, you create more energy and more not only to stay longer in a state, because you no longer react to your environment the way you used to, but you freed up that energy, so that energy can be used to bring other things, because energy is not created nor destroyed, it's transmuted.
Transferred, yeah.
And that's what we need to do, free up some of that fucking tied up energy. So that's an answer to a question you didn't ask, but I think it's important.
Yeah, it is. And that's the end of the questions that I have. And one last thing I wanna ask you is, like, as you might already know, most of the people in my audience, the people who follow me, they're all coaches or aspiring to be, starting their coaching business and things like that. But I know there are a select few who are interested in these kind of topics, and they want to go deep and they want to transform themselves. So I really believe that if they're interested in it, and they would benefit from working with you. So where can they find more information about you? Where can they reach out to you?
Yeah, I'm on YouTube, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook. So it's my name. Maybe it would be written somewhere.
Yeah, I will tag you in the post. Yeah.
If you look me up on Instagram or Facebook, Nenad Popadic, or on YouTube, you'll find tremendous amount of video content, free book, free courses and stuff. So you can always feel free to reach out if you have a question. And if I can, I'm happy to help.
Okay, that's awesome. So thank you so much, Nenad, again. And we should do something like this some other time.
Sure, man. I appreciate you. Thank you. And hope it was helpful for you and the people watching.
Absolutely. Thank you so much again. I'll see you soon.
Yes.
All right. Bye for now.